Here's the book that I'm going to use for this project. It's an old novel printed in Italian. Not that that makes any difference, but I like the size of it and I like the number of pages, and it's kind of got some foxing around the outside and I kind of like that. So I went ahead and drew some guidelines for the opening. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the cover. And I'm using a ruler with a metal edge. And a craft knife with some fresh blades. And I just want to get this lined up. And I'm just going to do a very light cut. One of the mistakes that people make when they're cutting something thick is they start off doing their first pass by pressing down very hard on the knife. And you don't want to do that because it's more likely that you will cause the ruler to slip out of alignment. So I'm just going to keep making very light passes over this board, pressing a little bit harder each time. And the reason I don't want to knock this ruler out of alignment is just what you saw happening there. Each time I move the ruler to check, it causes the blade to possibly end up cutting little slivers like this. We don't want that. So I'm going to have to clean that up once I'm done. Also, I'm holding the ruler so that I'm cutting away from the area I want to preserve, and that's important because if I make a mistake in cutting, I'm making the mistake in the area that I want to remove rather than the area I want to preserve. So you can see that this takes quite a bit of cutting to get all the way through. And there it is. And this little bit right here kind of knocked my ruler out of alignment. Rather than cut that off, I'm going to glue that back down once I get the piece out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing that I just did on all four sides. So here's my book with the hole cut in it. And I have this little piece to mend with some glue. And you can see that this piece is really kind of chewed up, but the frame that I cut isn't too bad. My plan is to clean this up a little bit with maybe some scissors to snip away these little bits right here, like this, just to cut away this little bit of paper that kind of got chewed. And I might also run a little bit of sandpaper or an emery board along this just to clean up any uneven edges, and then glue this down, and maybe run a little bit of paint along this so that it is the same color as the cover, and I have a nice clean finish for my opening. So now I'm just taking a little bit of burgundy acrylic and dragging it across this edge. I'm working pretty dry because I don't really want to get paint on the front face of the book. And I'm going to slip a little wax paper in here just to keep it from sticking. I'm not really protecting anything in here because this pretty paper at the front is going to get cut away. And there you go, there's my frame. Looks pretty good. It's a little crooked. It's a tiny bit narrower up here than it is down here. But that's okay. I think it looks pretty good. And I think if someone is looking at that tiny little bit that it's off, rather than what's going to happen on the inside, that I probably have not constructed a very good piece to begin with. So I'm not going to worry about that.